So 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men. Or as I like to call it, the Maryborough soccer team.
So we were sitting here yesterday. A little background. You're sitting here yesterday and Louis had a sore neck and I had a sore leg and we were like, oh, we'll just put on a film, sit and chill. And the reason we picked that film was we were going through a list of IMDb films.
The top 100 IMDb.
Yeah, it was listed. The top 100 was listed, and we were flicking through. So we were like looking at all, and Louis obviously big into the films, and I'm somewhat getting there. So we were just talking through what films we had seen in the list, row by row, and we both landed. So there was like loads of the ones I hadn't seen. Louis seen probably nearly all of them. But the first one we came across that the two of us hadn't seen was 12 Angry Men. Now I'd heard of it.
Yeah.
And you'd heard of it.
Yeah, but I thought it was the David Fincher. I think it's David Fincher. It's like the Army of the 12 Monkeys. I just got mixed up in my brain.
But then for some reason as well, 12 Angry Men, I thought George Clooney was in it.
Ocean's 11.
No. I feel like there's something else. We'll look into it in a minute. So we were like, oh, we'll be humming and hawing. We're like, no, we'll go watch it because I think it was like I'm trying to watch a lot more films I've never seen before, and it's always good to see like what the top 100 films are. And we were like, yeah, we'll watch that. So I didn't really know what it was about, and we got a brief synopsis of what it was about. I think we looked it up, or we looked at the like little description. And I have to say, so pleasantly surprised.
Really, we're not expecting.
I don't know. Like, so sometimes when it's like something's really highly reviewed, you're kind of like, oh, I don't know.
The nostalgia factor of people are like, it's better because it's old.
Yeah, it's in black and white. What film was it? A year was it?
57.
57. So then sometimes I'm like, oh, do you know when you watch films as well? You're kind of like, especially older films. Sometimes you're kind of like, we can't really say that anymore, or like there's just bits that you're kind of like, oh, like that's like to be very of their time as well. Like, you know, it's not people's fault that was the opinions back then.
Plot in 60 seconds.
Plot in 60 seconds.
Later this one.
It's with you.
Well, you did the last one.
Okay. I keep doing that. I say 60 seconds. I look at my watch, at my phone. I'm like, oh, I can't put like the minutes in. I forget 60 seconds is a minute. My brain doesn't comprehend that seconds a minute.
Numbers wouldn't be your strong point.
No, they wouldn't be at all. Right. 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Seconds.
Plot in 60 seconds, starting now.
So, the judge is delivering his final assessment of a court case where a young boy is accused of murdering his father in cold blood. Now the jury have to retire to come to their verdict, and the judge basically tells them that he can only be declared guilty if it's beyond any reasonable doubt that he killed his father, and if you come with a guilty verdict, they will not accept any plea from the jury for leniency. They will be sent to the electric chair. So the 12 Angry Men retire to the room, and it's I don't know where we go.
12 seconds.
It's just a very interesting discussion of how they come to their verdict. Technically, like I remember in work, I was chatting with my boss, and I said I was applying for a film grant to make a movie, and he said the best movie for a debut is Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
They said shoestring budget. All it is a warehouse.
Okay.
And then it's just all the drama that ensues.
Yeah.
90% of that movie was in one room.
Yeah.
Probably a bit bigger than this. No, it would have been bigger than this.
No, because there was only a table.
Yeah. But with 12...
And then they had a toilet.
Exactly.
But you would fit 12 people around a table.
But I mean, it was a room, and not a massive room, not with many different locations within the room.
No.
Then there was a toilet.
Yeah.
And I think they cut to that twice.
Yeah.
For maybe a bit of relief. And then it was just the performances and the drama that ensued.
Mm-hmm.
So originally they were like, right, we'll all just have a vote. It's
also points to say it's based in New York?
I think it was New York.
L train?
But see, that I thought it was the L train that we went on, but it wasn't. Because they called it L was short, it was EL. It was like an elementary train or something.
Yeah.
Not the L train, like. Oh, but he was going to see the Yankees, wasn't he?
Based in New York City, and the fella that's accused of murder is a Latino 18-year-old.
Was he Puerto Rican?
No, Latino. I don't know. It just said Latino.
Okay.
And he lives in the slums.
He was probably in the Bronx or somewhere.
Yeah. So that also has, and it's in the 50s, so it also.
Yeah, there's racial undertones, and like that, some of them are racist, some of them are of Latino descent.
Yeah. I thought it was, for the time, like if you were to watch it now, you kind of go, okay, well, it still rings true now, like, for some of the discussions. I thought it was so clever and so, I don't know, I just felt, I was like, this is unbelievable. For the time it was set in, I was like, this is just really, not progressive, but like, I was like, nice to see. If you get me, like, I was like, I just, that time you'd be thinking, oh, it's America, like, everyone was just really racist back then. Like, do you know what I mean?
Guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, see, like, New York especially was such a melting pot of all.
Yeah.
Because that's where everyone went.
Yeah.
Then that's where you got all your different areas, like Chinatown, Little Italy, and the Irish are in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. So it started off that they had to find him guilty as well. There had to be 12 votes for guilty, even if one person.
I didn't know that. Yeah, as well.
I don't know if that's a thing still. But
guilty.
Yeah.
And if they couldn't come to a conclusion, it was a hung jury, which meant that the trial would have started again.
Yeah.
With a new jury.
Yeah. So, as you said, yeah, they all enter the room.
Oh yeah, and
It's
then
a scorching hot day in New York.
Yeah. Oh, they said the hottest day of the year.
Yeah.
And the fan doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you feel that mugginess. You can see the sweat, and they're all sweating.
Yeah. And then also adds, I suppose, the tension when you're uncomfortable and like you're there and it's hot and you're like, ugh, can't leave. So they all
I thought that was interesting what you said, where the guy was like, someone like I thought it was like a social commentary or how everyone will kind of find their role. Like initially, the guy was like, just assumed the role of head of the table.
Yeah.
And you were like, who put him in charge?
Yeah.
But then he was like, okay, we'll just sit in the order that we were sat in. And everyone kind of followed suit. And then there was the guy who was like, oh, you're in my seat. And just the felt that like them hierarchies or social standing or just the way that we will conform.
Yeah.
And we were just, we'll follow along with the crowd. I just thought it was a really good social commentary. And it had different representations.
Yeah.
Through all the different characters.
But then as well, as you find out what their personal lives are like and stuff like that, you kind of go, oh, okay, maybe. Because like Dan, the fella he was juror number 1 and he kind of took the lead. But then later on you find out that he's a coach. So he's used to he's used to telling people high school coach, but he's used to telling people what to do and where to go and what their roles kind of should be.
And he knew how to manage. Yeah. And like, this is how we're going to get the decision together. This is
okay, maybe it's time we do another vote. Maybe it's time now. What do you think?
Yeah, he's like the chair. Yeah,
so really he's the coach. He was the head coach of these 11 other men.
Yeah, 11 angry men.
So when it first starts, they all vote. And one fella, they all say guilty, except for one man says not guilty. And then they all kick up a fuss. Oh, why do we have to be here? And blah, 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 blah. And they're like, it's hot. And then one fella has like ticket to the Yankees that night. And they're like, well, if you don't vote guilty, we're going to have to talk about it. And he's like, well, I feel like we should talk about it because it's an 18-year-old is going to be executed if we all just say.
Did he say that? He said if it was my life, I'd want a conversation to happen around it.
Yeah.
And like he said,
a longer conversation to happen around.
He said, I'm not saying he's not guilty.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we should talk about this.
Yeah. Yeah. And as it unfolds, it gets really interesting. It's really good, and it makes. What's that? Oh, my book. It also kind of makes you kind of go, God, like if that was how things were decided, a lot of people could have been executed for like.
Yeah.
Just because people wanted to get out, like, do you know what I mean? It's just it's scary how much power, and it just, like, they kind of talked about it as well, how much power these normal people who just happened to get the letter that time in the post to say they were on a jury have power in
life or death,
like,
Yeah.
You know?
And it was interesting the way that they broke down all the what's the evidence
Yeah.
and like the eyewitness reports as well,
Mhm.
how they disqualify them
Mhm.
and how, well, if he said that and she's saying this, well, then them two things couldn't happen. And then when he trips your man up, he's like,
Yeah.
he's an old man, he doesn't know what he's saying half of the time. Like, well, then how can his eyewitness report be the thing that says this kid to death?
Yeah.
So they went into the room as jurors,
And they came out.
as friends.
They didn't.
We are the Breakfast Club.
But
Don't you
it doesn't end with that song, obviously.
forget about me.
But
Yeah, before the song was written in
yeah.
1997.
Amazing film. I actually think it's probably one of my favorite films I've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of all genres.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Who would have thought Aaron Singleton?
I hate men.
Angry Men.
I hate
But
it.
it's what you always campaign for or canvas for.
What?
Men talking.
Yeah, I love men talking out their feelings and dealing with
Yeah.
the trauma.
Getting over
But
problems.
I just think I love a real whodunit. I know it wasn't really a whodunit because there was no answer to who killed, but
Yeah.
I just like that. I loved the dissection of the evidence.
Yes. Yeah.
I loved that they all kind of went through a journey as well, and it was just I loved the dissection and how quickly it could have been very much
Yeah.
close case, that's done. I really loved how through they all kind of went, oh, and it makes you kind of go, oh wow, like it just
Yeah.
very easily could have been someone's life.
And as well how useless eyewitness reports are.
Mm.
And especially like I remember hearing that before. They said unless it's immediately, eyewitness reports are useless
Mm-hmm.
because imagination and memory is the same muscle in the brain. And someone told me as well that every time you remember something, you're remembering the last time you remembered it.
Yeah.
So it's like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy
Yeah.
every time you retell the story.
Yeah.
So 3 months down the line, because there was a test done on this, and it was with people that were impressionable, and it was one of a low IQ, and they were able to convince them that they committed a murder, and it was just like a social experiment,
Yeah.
just to see if they could, and they were able to, and they got them to admit to it, even though they weren't even there, like they had nothing got to
Yeah.
do with it.
Making a murderer.
What?
Making a murderer. Remember that was during COVID.
What?
Remember your man? There's a fellow who went to prison making a murderer. Remember that was a whole series, and there was a murder done, and it was your man. They were like they've convinced him that he did that, but we don't think he did. But I think he did.
Oh,
Maybe he wasn't making a murderer.
It was,
Also.
and did Kim Kardashian getting pardoned or something?
I don't know.
Was he on death row?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, I think it's actually one of my favorite films I've ever seen.
All the performances were amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone was great. Everyone played their role.
Mm-hmm.
And to keep you interested for so long within the one location,
Yeah,
within the one theme, I thought that was like amazing, because that could have easily dragged.
Yeah, because it's 1 hour and 50 minutes.
Was it nearly?
Yeah,
nearly
2 hours. Yeah,
in one room. And by design, it was muggy and claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Like you felt uncomfortable in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and it was tense as well.
Yeah.
But to maintain that level of intensity was just amazing script writing. But then all the performances have to be good as well.
Yeah, and then it just shows you as well that sometimes to make a good movie, you don't need all the bells and whistles. You
No.
don't need another. And I think as well that would do very well as a play.
Yeah.
Like that and like that. You don't need bells and whistles. You don't need loads of different sets. You don't need. You just need really good characters, a really good storyline, and just twists and.
Yeah. But and like that, so minimal.
So minimal.
Like there was a murder without there being a murder.
Yeah.
And all the zero spent on props. 2 knives and the architect's drawn.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing.
There's about the height of that.
Yeah, maybe the jury scene at the beginning, but that was very short.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then a few shots on the steps, but it was like technically so easy to achieve. But yeah, it's the easiest ones that are the hardest, I guess.
Yeah.
And the ones that make it look easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Because there's a lot more, you're relying on a lot more because you don't have the bells and whistles to
exactly.
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the performances have to be on point,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they're all done so well.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoyed it. What would you give it out of 10?
I think I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
9, I'd say 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, there was nothing where you're like you couldn't say it was missing anything.
Even what they were wearing, like, and stuff like that. I think something to focus on. I definitely focus on as well because that makes you
Yeah,
kind of look at the characters and kind of know where they might come from and what.
they
Like,
were
they're-
developed from the shoelaces up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the salesman looked like a salesman. The guy that
Yeah.
had the Yankee tickets.
Mm-hmm.
The stockbroker looked like a stockbroker. The guy in advertising looked like he should be in advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all fitted very well.
Yeah.
Even like you said, the architect looked like an architect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very, very well developed.
Yeah. Really, really good.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Highly recommend. Yeah, I loved it. I really loved it.
And it kept you engaged the whole way.
The whole time. Wasn't bored.
It was an intricate plot, but it wasn't
Not hard to understand.
exactly. And whenever they did it, you were like, whenever they like resolved an issue or
Yeah.
spelled something, you were like,
Yeah.
booyakasha.
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, would highly recommend.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Do you want to do an outro? Since you're hypercritical of my outros.
Real hypercritical, I usually not put a voice on. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this sort of stuff, comment below, share, like, subscribe, and yeah, let us know if you want us to watch old films, new films, any sort of film. We're open to everything.
Films, plays,
Yeah, anything.
TV shows.
Louis doesn't really like TV shows, but we'll watch them for the sake of the channel. You're a thespian.
See.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. No, I can do the first step of the YouTube partner program. I've qualified for that, but you don't get paid for that yet. But you can have like a button where people can donate money.
I never said.
It hasn't come true yet because the creative studio is like 4 days behind, but it will.
Nice.
And I think like tomorrow or that it could be up on that, and then so then I think I need like 900 hours to get to. Oh, I still need to get all the subscribers up. Need 213 subscribers.
Okay.
Before December.
Think you can do it?
Yeah.
Nice. Leave that in. People can know what to do.
Yeah. So that's why I keep telling you to like, comment, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
We're nearly there.